everyone, welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and today we're talking about Dr. Stone episode 18, Stone Wars, which is kind of a funny title because that's like what all of season 2 is called, isn't it? Season 2 is
Yeah,
Stone Wars?
yeah,
Huh.
interesting. Maybe this is just like the shift from to the
It's
next,
precursor. Well,
yeah, arc.
actually, I will mention that in the manga chapters, but first, why don't you give us a summary?
All right, Tsukasa's army attacks the village, potentially leaving them with no choice but to cut down the bridge and lose Kinro.
Yeah, I kind of did first time I watched this, I in the back of my mind, I'm like, might have a first casualty here.
Yeah, all
Not
right, we
that
haven't
kind
had
of not
any
that
so
kind of
far.
anime. But yes, this covers manga chapter 45, epilogue of part one slash end of part one. And part two is called Stoneware, so that's where the shift comes, like you were saying. And then chapter 47, Science versus Power, and chapter 48, Blades of Science.
Yeah, let's get into it. I don't think we have anything. We have extra stuff at the end. So,
Yeah.
all right, yeah. So, Gen said Tsukasa is sending an army to attack the village.
Oh, he's like, Tsukasa is coming, and he's bringing an army. And Senku's just like, oh, I'm shaking in my custom baby seal leather boots.
Yes. I mean that is basically his reaction because he's the
No
best.
fear. Well, okay, a little fear.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I feel like whenever he's afraid, it's when he's like afraid for somebody else. I feel like he's
Yes,
never like
yes.
afraid for himself necessarily.
Yeah. I think that's the hallmark of a really good main character because I think Edward in Full Metal was the same way.
Yeah, I agree. And we see Kinro and Ginro. They're protecting the village, and Kinro sees that somebody is out there. Um, there's guys hiding in the woods, and so
Yeah, young and
he.
innocent people that
Oh my
Tsukasa.
gosh, I know.
These
That's
men
why
look like
we.
they're 30.
Yeah, yeah. We have a meme, so we'll share it.
Not that 30 is very old, but when Tsukasa said that, I thought teenagers, early 20s.
Honestly, I feel like this those guys are like late 20s, early 30s. That's what I would guess.
They're
That's what they look
brutes.
like to me,
They
but
they like
like
muscled men.
yeah, but they look like a little bit older, but they're also like wearing like well no, it's no, they have
They're
their marks.
scars.
There's and
Their
so I
marks,
think
and
that
then I know
were
they
they
mention this later in the manga, but the reason that they have their hair tied up real weird is because of the lack of good barber tools. So they just kind of
mm,
put it up however it goes and leave it.
that makes sense,
Yeah.
actually. Um
They look like troll dolls.
they do. Yeah, these are I feel like these are kind of some of the first people that are a little bit copy paste.
Yes, yeah.
Um yeah. Uh and we get a brief glimpse of their leader. He looks awesome. He's like wearing a mask and he's got like a black cloak and he's got a spear. And he's very impressed by Kinro because, like, oh, he senses that we're here. And then we go back to the village, and Gen is telling everybody about this guy. His name is Hyoga, and he's basically as scary as Tsukasa.
Hmm.
And we see that because then he attacks Kinro and stabs him. And Kinro is Kinro, and he tells Kinro to cut down the bridge to protect the village. But Ginro in a is being I don't know, he's being a good brother. He won't cut it down.
That scene,
Uh,
that scene really gets to me, and I know when I watched it with Ava, she's a big fan of Justin Briner, so like him crying and being like, I can't kill my own brother. That just tugged on our heartstrings a little bit.
is it bad to say that I thought he was annoying? I didn't want him to cut down the bridge and I'm happy he didn't, but I was just like,
I get it.
I don't know.
Both ways, both sides. I see it. Like if if you have to cut down the bridge to protect the village, have somebody else cut it. Don't make the
Mm-hmm.
brother
Yeah, that's
do
kind
it.
of
That's
cruel.
horrible.
Yeah. Um, no, I just think he's annoying and anything that he says. So and I was just having like Deku flashbacks when he was crying.
Except with Deku, that's not as annoying because it's like
Yeah,
he's
that's
put in these
true.
situations where like, okay, yeah, cry. That's
Uh,
understandable.
sometimes.
But he's also 15. Well, Kinro's I mean Ginro's 16, but like he's also a scaredy cat.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. But anyway, he doesn't cut the bridge down. And Senku comes up with the plan. And he and Gan again like work together. Um, I don't know, especially in this episode, like I just love Gen. Like he like sees what Senku is doing and he immediately like joins in and tells Magma to like throw that rock and um basically Senku uses the last of their gunpowder to pretend like they have guns and like tricks the group into to fleeing.
I
Um
thought that was pretty clever, and they didn't have to worry about the timing of the throw as much. I mean, like Gen timed it down, but like their weapons, if they had guns, it would be rudimentary and kind of like he would have missed anyway. So
mhm
I think that was very clever to be like, oh, just throw a rock and the boom will cover up like, you throwing it and they'll think that a bullet passed by.
yeah. Yeah. It's classic Senku. So they flee, and I seriously, this scene, I was a bit confused because Senku just like throws stuff at Kino and be like, "Okay, buddy, you'll be okay now."
I love
Um,
that though. He's like, take some of this and some of this. It's like the get well soon cards, except his get well soon isn't a well wish, it's a command.
mm-hmm. Yep. So Kino's gonna survive. Um, and we find out that the next attack is gonna be in the rain because then they can't use their firearms.
Yeah, and
Um,
Gen pretended to be like a double agent, triple agent, whatever you want to say. He went back with Hyoga pretending to be like, "Oh no, they've got firearms. I have to warn you about this village. Let me give you the intel." And they run away and Gen's the one who's like, "Maybe we should wait for a storm because they can't, get the flint started." And
mhm.
he's like he and Senku are working together to subtly influence them so that the Kingdom of Science can be ready,
Mm-hmm.
have enough time to prepare.
Yes, yes. And the whole village is now on their side. They're all working together. They're preparing something for the attack. And then the rain comes, and what have they made?
Katanas.
Yes. It's awesome. Like they think they made like five and they gave them to like the
Yeah, it was
uh
Ginro, Magma, Kohaku, and Kokyo, I think, all had one.
mhm. Yep. And they like easily destroy all of the spears. But it's not going to be that easy because Tioga is very powerful and he's got, as you kind of see, you see it in the first when he first attacks Kinro, his spear like spins around. Um I don't know if they ever actually say this in the anime, but in the manga they call it a pipe spear. And
Mm-hmm.
the technique, oh man, what did we
Kanryu.
say? Kanryu. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Um
had we'd have to go back to the anime and listen carefully, but they had a different name for the pipe spear in the anime,
mhm
but it was kind of fast for us to pick up, so we'll be paying more attention to it later.
yeah. And Magma, he goes after Magma, Kohaku, and what the? Okay, I wrote Magma twice. He goes after Kinro, Magma, and Kohaku. Um, and because they're the strongest in the village, but and it
Oh,
looks
sorry,
like
sorry, pause. I found it. His spear is called a kurayari. So
okay, yep, that's
Kudayari.
okay. That's right. Yep, good job.
Continue. I'm sorry. I'm
Quick,
sorry.
quick googling skills.
Yeah.
Um, they're gonna they're gonna lose, it seems like, but then all of a sudden his pipe sphere breaks. And he's like, what? Kawaku didn't have enough time to get me. And then he sees like somebody broke it beforehand. And I love, oh my gosh. So first we see Sanku he gave Suika a knife to give to Gen, and he like cut we see him cut it. And Gen just tries to play innocent, like, who, me? And he
I
just
would
like,
never.
oh, it was so great. Um, and yeah, he's officially on their side. Um, and I love like the final little detail. He like set a trail of flowers for Suika to follow to their location, and the flower is a white nightshade, which means liar. It's just perfect.
It's his
Um,
favorite flower. Makes sense.
yep. And I did look it up, and that is true. The nightshade is in the language of flowers. It's does mean liar.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that's where it ends.
Yeah. So here's some manga notes. So there's a cool little chapter break where they go into a little bit of what the stats for the characters are, our fighters. So for Kinro, he has 3 out of 5 power, 2 out of 5 speed, 3 out of 5 technique, 4 out of 5 reach. Kohaku has 3 out of 5 power, 5 out of 5 speed, 3 out of 5 technique, 2 out of 5 reach. Magma has 5 out of 5 power, 2 out of 5 speed, 1 out of 5 technique, 3 out of 5 reach. And Hyoga has 3 out of 5 power, 5 out of 5 speed, 5 out of 5 technique, and 5 out of 5 reach.
Yeah.
And then another thing from the manga is the artist and author's foreword in the beginning of this is volume 6. So the author says, I visited a spear dojo for research. And then he has a little picture up there of him practicing, but this picture is small and it's hard to tell, but the spear on the left is blurry. The pipe spear has the spear itself going through a pipe, and just like Hyoga's, it spins around. There's no blocking that. They even let me try it out. I got to spin it just fine, but pulling off an actual attack was another story. I need more training. And then the artist says, for chapters 42 to 44, I used over 1,070 reference photos. It was brutal work for several weeks, but my staff and I poured our hearts into it. Why? I have special feelings for the Soyuz rockets and Baikonur base since one of my past series was set in Russia. In order to learn about the country's history, literature, food, and mafia, I read Russian books, listened to Russian music, and even tried cooking Russian food. After all, I know I need to cultivate a certain love for a culture if I want to portray it. With that series, I tried to convey Russia's passion, loneliness, and solemnity. In a way, doing this part of Dr. Stone revived my passion for Russia. I still haven't traveled there in person, but I hope to someday.
Hmm. Interesting. I love when authors like actually put in the work
Mm-hmm.
to learn about
Yeah, and this
different
series takes
cultures and
a
yeah.
lot more work than most.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I can't even
I mean,
imagine.
the next season coming up,
It,
just
yeah.
where they're going to be, that's going to take a lot of research.
Yeah, that's insane.
All right. Ooh, let's introduce a character. We've been pretty excited about this one. But Kyoga is played by Jerry Jewell, who you may know as Kyo Soma from Fruits Basket. So I apologize in advance, but we're going to slip up one of these days because we call Kyoga Kyoga sometimes, just
Mm-hmm.
because we can. And sometimes we forget his actual name. But anyway, Jerry Jewell also plays Barry the Chopper from both Fullmetal Alchemists and Moblit from Attack on Titan, who's the best. We
He
love
is.
him.
Yes, we basically renamed Kyoga and just call him Kyoga
Yep.
most of the time. And probably honestly for this episode I called him Kyoga, but probably from now on I won't.
Yeah. Just a forewarning. But Hyoga's name, according to the internet in a quick search, Hyoga is a name that has the potential to attain spiritual enlightenment. It is derived from Japanese characters meaning spotted or small tiger and gracious or elegant. Hyoga is a name that conveys a highly charged personality that attracts powerful ideas. The name Hyoga also indicates the wearer's destiny, luck, life lessons, and favorable symbols. So,
Hmm,
yeah, I think that's
interesting.
pretty fitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and fun fact, so maybe we'll do this for more characters, but I always like seeing what their ages are when we first meet them, because I think in a lot of series, it is clear the range that they are, but it can be kind of difficult to tell since they're drawn, they're animated. It can be difficult to tell exactly how old they are, but Yoga's 23.
Honestly, I would have pegged him as older. Like I would say like late 20s.
I'm
But
just glad they have people in their 20s. I would hate if
yeah,
it was all
no,
teenagers.
that's true because most of the shows we watch, everybody's like in high school. So I
Yeah.
appreciate seeing people closer to my own age.
Hmm. All right, for tracking, Chrome said that's bad 2 times.
Mm-hmm. And Senku said get excited once.
All right, let's talk about our fun things.
Yeah. Okay. The episode is fun too.
Yeah.
But extra things. Yeah, so I've been waiting to like share this forever. I had to wait for Megan's birthday and then and then give her gift. But I found this cool company that makes anime themed candles. They are called, oh man, I think it's Moonstar CA. Um, and they have like a bunch of different candles. They're cool because they're like based on characters. Some of them are based on like movies. And it's like not just the candles, like some of them that I bought, like so they have a whole Studio Ghibli collection and I bought like half of them. Um and a lot of them have like charms of the characters like in the candles and they all smell pretty good. And I also got Haikyuu one for Megan. I got her Kenma.
Yes,
She said
it's so cute.
he
It's
said it smells
so
good, but
yeah,
uh,
it has well it's a red candle obviously because of Nekoma, but I think the art printed on the outside, it I think they might have drawn it themselves or
mm-hmm.
commissioned somebody. It doesn't look like from the show, it looks slightly different, which is cool. Different style. And the scent, I'm pretty sure it smells like apple pie because that's Kenma's favorite food.
Mm. I did love that detail.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I will share pictures of what I got and then also the company, but they're super fun. And
Yeah, check them out.
yeah, I got a bunch. I have yet to actually burn one, but
Well, I have a candle
uh,
warmer because I hate burning candles and I mean like I like the wooden wick it has. It would be fun to
mhm.
burn. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I own a lighter, but but I have like one of those candle, like the hot plates, so
Mhm.
that'll work just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. The wooden wicks are awesome. It like gives it extra smell and then you can like hear it crackling. It's
Yeah,
great.
it looks
Um,
cool too.
yes. Yeah, and then okay, our oh yes, the book we're reading for book club was I think we mentioned already about Hunger Games and we finished the first one. Um, it was both of our first time reading it.
Yes.
Um,
I had seen the first movie, but that's a lot different than reading it. So,
yes, yes. I very much enjoyed it, which I kind of knew that I would because people really like it, which doesn't mean it's always a good book, but
but you can usually like
um,
if a lot of people like it, you can usually assume it's at least
mhm,
enjoyable somewhat.
yeah.
But I thought
Yeah.
the writing was very well done. It was easy to read, not in like a grade school level easy to read, but in like the action scenes flowed very well. I knew what was happening in the scene without having to backtrack. Yeah, and the story is interesting and the world building was set up very nicely. But I think you and I, if we had one complaint, it would be how it ended. And
Mm-hmm.
not to say that it was a bad ending, just to say that it was sort of just not the way we would have done it. We were expecting the last sentence to be something like "There's trouble on the horizon," something of that sort, or like I could tell change was
Mm-hmm.
coming. But instead, the last sentence was about her romantic life. And
Literally like the
well,
last like two chapters, which I do understand why, because they're trying to
yes.
survive. But I was like, where's the revolution?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who cares because I do care about Katniss
Yeah.
and Peeta and all the others, but again, romance takes a back seat when you're talking about this. Well, they haven't decided they're starting a revolution yet, so that's why it didn't end the way we thought it did. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But it was good. We're reading the next one, obviously. So we will keep you updated on our thoughts. Yeah, I think that's all we've got for extra things. So, what was your favorite line of the episode, Megan?
Mine came from Gen. No, you don't really believe that, do you? I would never betray your trust.
Oh
I
my
can't
goodness.
I can't do the squeak like he did though. That was impressive. Like the little
Yeah.
whimper.
Yeah, honestly, he's been doing because he's had those, and then he did that scream, like, uh,
Yes, but anyway, we'll look forward to his weird noises that he makes throughout the series.
hmm
What's your favorite line, Meg?
Mine came from Keenro when he was like getting pulled up off the bridge, and Keenro's figuring out, and he's like, "Oh, he's dead," and Keenro's like, "No, I'm still alive. Don't go killing me off, Keenro."
That was
It's
a
like,
good one.
yeah, such a brother thing.
Yeah.
And what do we learn in this episode?
We learned that sometimes you have to sacrifice quality for speed. They were in a rush and they had to make those katanas real quick.
Mm-hmm. And who pushed the story forward?
Yen for being a triple turncoat, as Kohaku says in the manga.
Great. Honestly, this is like to me, this is like a Gen episode.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
really shines. Um,
yeah.
he's
And
great.
now he can finally go back to the village because he's cut all ties with Tsukasa.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's official.
Yep.
And now, well, Tsukasa will know that for sure know that Senku's alive.
Yeah. He had his
Um,
suspicions because even though Gen, did that false report, what Gen said was, I haven't found a trace of him. He's most certainly dead. But, what Tsukasa heard is like, you didn't see a body.
mm-hmm.
So he could still be alive.
You know what they say, no body, no crime.
Yep.
Mm,
She hasn't planned to commit any crimes. She just watches a lot of true crime shows.
hmm Honestly, Tsukasa is smart because they always make the mistake of like, oh, they're dead, and
Yeah.
then don't actually
Well,
double check.
on that note, Hyoga's really smart too because he was like the other grunts were just rushing headlong in, being like, "Oh, this is a primitive village. This will be easy. We'll take them out." And Hyoga's sort of hanging back, going, "Let me observe. Let
hmm
you guys can go ahead and die. I'll observe and see what they're made of."
What a great leader.
I know, right? That's literally what he said, though. He's like, "Oh well, if they sacrifice themselves, at least I'll know what strength the village has."
I hate his character, but also really like him at the same time.
Because it's
Uh,
Jerry Jewell.
yep, yep.
He does villains very well.
He does. He does. All right. That's all we've got. We will be back next week with another episode.
Yep, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.